Need dirt or aggregate, or you need to get rid of it? The Soil Connect Marketplace connects those who have it with those who need it. And our new e-ticketing service makes order verification, confirmation, sharing, and record keeping completely contactless and digital. Keep it local, keep it safe, keep it moving. Soil Connect, the #1 materials marketplace for dirt and aggregates, for everyone who plays in the dirt. Available on the App Store and on Google Play. Learn more at soilconnect.com.
Welcome to Soil Connect Live. My name is Cliff Fettner, and I am the founder and CEO. A quick shout out to PKA Marketing for that little intro. Just a minute about my background. I'm a third generation builder and developer here in the New York metro area. I kind of grew up on the job site as a little kid and kind of never left the dirt. Soil Connect was born because I had an issue getting rid of some dirt on one of my own job sites. And there had to be a better way of moving and sourcing your dirt. So Soil Connect was born just 3 years ago. Soil Connect is a free platform that is creating efficiencies and transparency in our old school fragmented world. It's time we stop calling around to our friends who needs it, when they need it, why they need it, who's supplying the trucking. So Soil Connect makes it quicker, faster, and cheaper to resource and move your dirt and aggregates. Our app is free, our marketplace is free, and it will take you less than 3 minutes to download the app from iTunes and Google Play Store. So today, I'm very excited to introduce to you our guest, Aaron Toppston. Aaron is the Managing Director for Walsh Investment Group, the investment division of the Walsh Group. Aaron manages all of the infrastructure investment activities for Walsh across North America. In addition, Aaron is the founder and the leader of Walsh's analytics team. Aaron went to Miami University in Ohio for undergrad and Kellogg for his MBA. And so Aaron and I got together last week and decided what is the most relevant topic that affects us all, no matter what size business you have, is efficiency. And then that led us to why in our world today is our technology exploding. I read an article over the weekend that VCs have invested 10 times more into construction over the last 3 years than any other industry. So Aaron, thank you so much for joining us today. And I would love to hear your thoughts about why now, more than ever, is the ConTech world truly exploding.
I appreciate it, Cliff, and thanks for inviting me. Great to be here. So a few thoughts. Why is construction seeing growth around technology? And you know, on its surface, construction's been ripe for change, ripe for technology growth for decades. Why are we only seeing it now? 4 rules that I kind of think are, or ideas, I guess, thesis behind it. 1, changing staff, right? E&C as an industry, we're a very experience-driven industry. We place personal experience, what your experience is on a job site, on a specific project, as really the precipice of defining one's career and how we execute work. But today we're having a growth in new talent in the industry, and the workforce coming in has a higher aptitude, a higher willingness to use technology. You know, whether that's simply driven off of consumer tech, apps on an iPhone and avocado toast, if nothing more. And so the gap between consumer applications and commercial applications is starting to narrow. And I think folks are getting more comfortable seeing technology on job sites and more comfort, relying and utilizing it. And I heard this kind of line of comparison from Caterpillar during a presentation they did. In that presentation, they talked about their IoT division monitoring equipment out all across the globe. They said everything they deploy has to pass that Apple Store test. If it doesn't have the look, touch, and feel good enough to be consumer level, the adoption rates were lower. And I think that the incoming talent and the ability for technology to meet on that level playing field, thesis one about why is it changing now. Two, complexity. 10 years ago, $500 million project was enormous. Today, there are billion-dollar and multi-billion-dollar procurements, both in the private sector and the public sector. The size of a project continues to get bigger. Complexity continues to get bigger. Reporting administrative requirements grow exponentially as project size increases. So a PM before on a site could know everything. Today, with how big projects are and how complex, the administrative requirements, in addition to the execution and work requirements, means one person can't remember everything, and pen and paper or older style recording simply isn't enough. Third facet, design build. For decades, there's been really a divide about how trades, GCs, and architects are looked at in the industry. Particularly architects have historically, or engineers, et cetera, professional services firms. And that was in comparison to the way builders were viewed, right? So builders were viewed as executing against blueprints. And where we think that this is wrong is everyone on a job site is a professional service. You hire a good builder because you trust them. Owners expect trust throughout the line, not just one of those professional services firms. I think the realization that there's a lot more in common with everyone that goes into building a road, a bridge, a water treatment plant, et cetera, and how they operate as a professional services firm, and the communication and accuracy of decision making means quite a bit. And therefore, the technology adoption up and down that value chain has become more more available, or just frankly, more of a willingness to talk about that shared experience rather than different. And then I'll throw my last one out here, and I think this is a big one. The cost of technology is going down. Construction is a very low margin business. We are just above running grocery stores. And because of that, there is hesitance to invest a lot in R&D. It's an enormous industry by volume, trillions of dollars globally, but to any of the finance or VC folks out on this call, I know there's got to be one. Look, we don't scale well. So if we don't scale well and we don't have high margin, it has to be very affordable. Technology today can be used on an individual project, and the decision making can often be for just one project. And that ability to take a bite size at a low cost means quite a bit to adoption of tech.
Well, yeah, I can't agree with you more. I think that we clearly come from different worlds. I come from a family business of builders and developers, and we developed many homes, here in the Metro New York area. The Walsh Group obviously is across the country building bridges and airports and everything in between. But I think overall, though, the investment in technologies, that I've always looked at it as an investment and not as an expense. And so when after you go through the initial speed bumps and the onboarding of employees and staff, and learning the new tech, we just become more efficient at it. And so clearly, with the differences in my background and your background, how does Walsh look at the new tech, the implementation of it, how long it should take before you guys really truly see your ROI on that?
Sure. Let me take that in a couple parts. And it's a great question. One is, as family businesses, I'm sure we share a lot more rather than differences. At the end of the day, Walsh very much is a family business. The scale is a little different. So we truly embrace technology on our projects and in our company. But when we think about how do we execute that, there's really two levels. One is project and two is corporate. And I'll start with the project because it kind of dovetails to the last conversation we're having. So on projects, we really like to pilot ideas, find project-specific applications for certain technology, and use it as a decentralized decision making. Tech, whether it's something well tested like Procore, might work really well for one owner in one situation and not work on another. Highly subcontracted work, self-perform work is a good differentiation. And to unique situations, right? Working on a bridge over water is very, very different than, building a building here in downtown Chicago, and has a lot of different requirements for reporting, compliance, monitoring, et cetera, that will demand different use of tech. Our firm has allowed each project manager to make a decision on what tech is appropriate. I believe that is really the right way to do it. That PM will understand, how do I execute work? How is operations driving forward the utilization of tech? And that makes it valuable. My colleague Dan Smolillo does a great job serving as a internal conduit to say, what did project A learn, to teach project B, and just share information. And so that's how we view project applications. On the corporate side, we really view it around analytics. And what I mean by that is, what have we learned as an entity, as a global company, to improve our operations, our consistency, and reduce volatility? And this kind of dovetails into your second question, ROI. So when I think about ROI, the hard thing with technology is, often in other industries, you spend $1 million, a payback period of 2 years, here's your return on investment. My belief and our view is that in construction, that's a very difficult equation to have. The reason being is construction returns are quite volatile. The one project can be a home run and one cannot, right? And that volatility, that inconsistency on individual financial returns per project matters as much to the overall company as an individual ROI for an application. So tech that can reduce volatility is the path to an ROI. It's not a number. It's not a, here's your cost of equity and here's the years it takes to pay back, but rather validation that this works. And that's where we build it into corporate understanding, and how do we analyze what's worked and what hasn't across the portfolio of 500 plus projects that we have as a firm. And we have a good amount of historical data around that to understand what are our leading indicators, what can we look at in the field that says, hey, we could use some additional resource, we could use some additional help somewhere, or frankly, just something as simple as, hey, this is going really well. It doesn't need to be a first priority management focus. And where does tech plug into those leading indicators in a way that double downs on those strengths? So that's hopefully a good overview of those two questions.
Yeah, I think that the other side of the Walsh and doing business across the country in bridges and tunnels and airports, and then there is the family business, which is much smaller, right? Where there are 5 men or 20 men, in a smaller mid-sized type of operation. Maybe it's a second generation, maybe it's a third generation, and they're now adopting to the new technology to today on a much smaller scale, where they would never really be interested in a Procore, for an example, because takes on a different size firm for sure. But the analytics or the ROI for a smaller firm, like what I grew up in, I know my dad was very forward thinking, and it just brings me back to a story in 1984. I hate to admit to that. He brought the first computer into the office, and everybody looked at him like, what is that, and what are we going to do with that? And my dad said, well, soon everybody's going to have one of these in the office, and soon they're going to talk to each other. And he was true. But the point of the story, Aaron, is that every firm kind of has to wrap their head around an investment in technology on whatever level, and implement it, and get your team around you to understand it and embrace the technology, because the technology will just make you more efficient, right? And then that kind of leads directly into where we are going with Soil Connect and what we are truly doing here. So Soil Connect's mission statement is really very simple. It's one-stop shopping for any and all your dirt needs. And so, like I said, we started 3 years ago. We had our dirt marketplace, and we added different types of dirt. Then we added aggregates, and recyclables, recycled concrete, recycled asphalt. And now we have our e-ticketing products, and we're going to continue to build products that will solve problems for our users each and every single day. And so really, I guess what I was wondering is, that's what makes Soil Connect different in today's construction tech world. What makes Walsh really different from your other competitors out in the marketplace?
Sure. No, I'd be happy to talk about that. So competitive differentiation in our industry, again, a professional services industry like construction, is about trust. I said that earlier, and I'll emphasize it again here. I think we're one of the more professional builders, one of the more professional collaborative organizations to work with in North America. We're an operations first company. We pride ourselves on what we do. The family name is on the door per your statement earlier, right? And I think that makes a really big impact to the pride of what the product is at the end of the day, the building, the airport, the bridge, whatever it might be. And really the work and the ethics and the citizenship that goes into executing that with pride. We have a mission statement that rings true and is often brought up regularly around the corporate office, out on our website, and it truly is a lot of those intangibles, if you were, as a differentiator. The last thing I'll say too is, going back to trust, is I feel pretty confident we have a good relationship with most of our JV partners, our engineers, our trades, our communities, and importantly, our clients, right? And I think it's that long-standing trust-based relationship that's a big differentiator for our firm.
Well, yeah, that's I appreciate all that, and this is our second live event, and I did not want these live streaming to go too long, and I wanted just to get to the point and introduce technology into our world and into our society. I want to thank you for joining us today. I want to thank the Soil Connect team and for all their hard work. If anyone has any questions about the broadcast, about Soil Connect or Walsh, please email us at info@soilconnect.com. And thank you for listening. And we will have our next live event in April with another very special guest. Thank you very much.
You need dirt or aggregate, or you need to get rid of it. The Soil Connect Marketplace connects those who have it with those who need it. And our new e-ticketing service makes order verification, confirmation, sharing, and record keeping completely contactless and digital. Keep it local, keep it safe, keep it moving. Soil Connect, the #1 materials marketplace for dirt and aggregates, for everyone who plays in the dirt. Available on the App Store and on Google Play. Learn more at soilconnect.com.